Welcome to Story Smash, the storytelling game show. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I am so excited to be here with all of you tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook and on YouTube. And feel free to leave comments in the chat and let us know where you're coming from. Welcome to the show, and let's get this party started. Now, let me introduce to you the Wheel of Stories. There are 12 permanent chapters on the wheel, and there's also an additional space that says free. Woo! Little bit of audio issues. There's an additional space on the wheel that says free. If the contestant lands on free, they can choose any of the topics. The topic like drunk tank. No, that's not even a topic. Like drunk tank, school days, growing up, mom, birthdays, pandemic is now on the wheel, all sorts of topics. And there's also 3 spaces that say audience. And if the contestant lands on audience, well, that's when we go to you guys out there on Facebook and YouTube, and you can put in the chat any suggestions you'd like to hear as a story topic. And one of our guest judges will go ahead and choose one to be the topic. And speaking of amazing expert judges, let's get them on the screen right now. All right, you guys, this first judge coming to the show, he's a comedian and a writer, and he's written for Mad TV and Mad Magazine, and you can hear him on the Nerd Poker podcast, and he's the host of the legendary Lucha Vavoom here in Los Angeles. Please welcome Blaine Capatch. Little
hey, Christine, what's happening, man? How are things in the eating?
Blaine, you're frozen. There's been a lot.
I'm loving it. I'm loving the technical difficulties tonight. Hey, you know what?
Needs to stay out of the show. I think we got to keep the producer out of the show, and we're just going to dance. We're going to hear the music in our head. That's what we're going to do.
This is going to be great, Christine. You know, we couldn't do the show without the help of some of our sponsors. We're brought to you tonight by Crazy Glue Band-Aids. They're not going anywhere. We're also brought to you by 3 Guys Burgers. Fuck those other 2 guys. 3 Guys Burgers. They know what they did. Christine?
All right, you guys, this next comedian coming on the stage, this next expert judge, he's a comedian and a performer who has been dubbed the smartest man in the world. And the name of his podcast is named just that. You've seen him perform comedy all over the world and regularly on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Please welcome the fabulous Greg Proops.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hello, Christine. Hello, Blaze.
Hi, Greg.
What a pleasure to be back here, and especially on a night where the audio is taking this scintillating phase-shifting turn. I don't think anything is more conducive to a show that's spoken word than having the audio be a phantasmagoria of intergalactic locking fractals.
Hey, man, it's another new experience, and we're all together, so it's going to be a great night. All right, you guys, this next contestant... This next expert judge, he's fantastic. He is a novelist and a screenwriter and an artist and a producer, and he's best known for his work on Seinfeld as both writer and co-executive producer. He coined the phrases yada yada and double dipping and even sponge-worthy. He's also the creator and host of The Narrow World of Sports, which was hilarious, one of my favorite series. And he was a freelance writer for the New York Times, GQ, and Esquire. He still is. And if that's not enough, recently he published this novel, #MeAsWell. Please welcome the very fabulous and talented Peter Melman. Hey, Peter.
Do I have to actually do anything now? I mean, I think that should be enough.
I think you are doing great. We are so happy to have you. You've judged this game at least a dozen times at the Improv and other places, but this is the first time we've got you on this platform. So thank you for joining us, Peter.
Yeah, well, you shamed me into spending $1,500 on a new computer.
Okay, let me just share
She
something.
made me buy a Corvette.
Peter Melman was using an iPad. It's wrong. It's wrong. I made him buy a new computer, and he loves me for it.
Quite right. You're a writer.
That's exactly right. All right, you guys. Check it out. We're going to be playing 2 rounds of the show tonight. In the first round, the contestants will tell a true 1-minute story. And in the second round, a true 2-minute story. And in the event of a tie, we'll go to the spin-off round, which is the third round. Now, the judging is based on 3 things, kind of what you guys have always judged on: the story, the ability to stay on the topic, and the time. The contestants are in charge of their own time right here behind me. So keep your eye on the clock. You don't want to go over your time, because if you do, you may hear this. Yeah, that's a problem.
Now, when we need something to make a noise.
If you go over your time, you're going to hear this.
Davy Jones?
That's exactly right. Goodbye, producer. Goodbye, producer. Thanks for trying. If you hear this, you've gone over your time and your story's over. We go right to the judges. So keep that in mind. Folks, let's start the show. Good luck to all the contestants. And please remember, we fact check all the stories. All right, you guys, I'm reaching my hand into the story smash can of truth, and I'm pulling out the first contestant's name, and that person's on the way up right now. Oh, righty now. Okay, you guys, this talent, she's an actress and a writer and a producer, and she loves crunchy food. She's also a podcast creator, and she's on her 4th podcast called Lisa Upside Down. It's a scripted comedy about a woman whose life is turned upside down, and with the help of her oversexed parents, her dying aunt, and her friends, and a lot of weed, she finds peace with her new normal. Please welcome the very talented Lisa Orkin. Lisa!
Hello, everyone.
I'm so happy you're here. All right, let's tell Lisa what to do, guys.
Spin that wheel. It's been brought to you by Mountain Dew Black, now available without a prescription. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. Mountain Dew Black.
Lisa landed on holidays. Holidays. You have 1 minute, Lisa. I'll start the clock when you're ready.
Okay. So it was Christmas Eve, and we lived in the suburbs of Chicago. And every Christmas Eve, because we were Jewish, we didn't celebrate it. My dad would take us kids to the movies, and we went to go see Silver Streak. And the thing that my dad would do when we go to the movies is he would stop and get a big thing of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we would take that into the movie theater and eat it. And it was really weird because it was like a really busy Christmas Eve, and we come up to buy the tickets, and the person goes, "Oh, you can't bring the chicken inside the theater." And my dad just was like, what? And my dad started making jokes about Jesus and being Jewish, and my sister and I were dying, and we were like, "Dad, please." So we go to the car, we take all the chicken and we put it in our pockets. No. We have our big winter coats on, we go inside the theater, and we eat the chicken watching Silver Streak. It was awesome.
All right, look at the time, 55 seconds. Greg Proops.
The momentum on this story reminded me of an effervescent Dorothy Parker. There was the beginning where the Jewishness was established, and then later having to bring food into the theater made it unbelievably good. But I think resorting at the end, more like Mordecai Rickler, putting the chicken in your pockets really took it to a level that although it ended a little early for me. I would have liked to seen a coda like that the theater owner died in a chicken accident or something.
Oh, that would be great. So my dad was a chicken.
We don't give the score yet, do we? Or do we give it now?
No, you can. Between 1 and 5, you give her the story, and then a 1 to 5 ability to stay on topic, and then the time is 1 to 5. So it's
the story.
15. Oh, there's a producer there's a producer in the show. Hi.
Oh no.
Hey, Greg, what's your score for Lisa Orkin?
I thought the story was a straight 4. Her telling of it was brilliant, a 5, and keeping to time. She came in under time, so I don't know whether to dock her or give her a 6.
There's no 6.
Yes, there is a 6, Christine. These concepts of yours. I know, but for the purposes of the show, then a 5.
Okay, for the purposes of 5, and that total. Okay, now let's go to Blank Patch. Blaine?
Greg, when you said it was over too soon, it more reminded me of Revolver, which was 13 songs in 34 minutes, which was a little short, but seemed the perfect length. But I don't mean to disagree. I was thrown for a loop. First of all, thinking of Gene Wilder in Blackface and Silver Streak, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. And also, when you said that you were that Chicago was involved and you had fried chicken, I kind of got my suspicions raised a little bit, because Chicago is where I go for deep dish pizza. I think that this might be a made up story on your part, but still, I loved it. 15.
Peter Melman.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy it just based on the fact that the subject matter was holidays. And, as an atheist, I don't really have any holidays, except for the one holiday commemorating when God decided to be such a douche. Anyway, I thought the story was very cogent, very well told. And I give a 14.
A 14. That's a fine score. Let's add them up. We'll take a look at the leaderboard and see how Lisa did. She's kicked off the game. Great job, Lisa. Thank you so much. A total score of 43. It's a great score. It's a great first round already. Thanks for playing, Lisa. We'll see you in the next round. And I reach my hand into the story smash can of truth. And who do I have now? This is exciting. All right, you guys, this guy is a comedian and an actor and an improviser, and you might have seen him, check this out, in the fight scene in the original Anchorman. That's right. Now, what you never saw him do was enter the Capitol illegally. He recorded a comedy album called A Little Off the Top of My Head, and you can find him at jimcoughlin.com. He's here right now. Jim Coughlin! Pretend you hear music.
Spin that wheel.
All right, you guys, let's tell Coughlin what to do.
Spin that wheel. It's been brought to you by Invisicrocs. Align your feet invisibly. Now in Invisiflops, Invisicrocs. Christine?
Pets. Coughlin landed on pets. When you're ready, I'll start the clock.
I am ready. Okay, so I was dog sitting for this dog. I was told Audrey was allowed in the yard, but be careful. And so I let her out in the yard, and then she wouldn't get in the house. But the house, the way the yard was, she could get out of the yard if I was too aggressive. So I tried to lure this dog for approximately 6 hours. And at 5 a.m, I gave up. I went to bed. I laid down on the bed, and she came in and she laid down right next to me. Then I tried to get her on the leash, and she escaped again. But then this time I laid down on the bed with the leash. She came back in and jumped on the bed, and my 6 hours was over. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is almost my story. There was an alien. Oh, but I've run out of time.
58 seconds. Peter Melman.
Good dog story, Jim. Not quite as good as mine recently when a woman asked me if I have a dog, and she asked me if I adopted my dog, and I said no, he's my biological dog. Anyway, the story didn't really go that far after
cut out a little.
It kind of like started off fast, but anyway. I give it like a 12.
A 12. All right. Fair enough. Blank a patch.
Jim, my son was doing something Minecraft involved, and I missed the part where it was a dog, and I just heard sitter, and then Audrey coming in next to you in bed, and it was like, what the fuck is going on? Who rescued who? I think that's the question here, and I want to hear more about this UFO that you teased at the end of this thing. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think if you get an audience pick next time, you should tell that UFO story, Jim. I think we'd all like to hear your UFO story. Am I right, everybody? Huge
You're
applause.
right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I loved it, Jim. I'm going to give it 14.
14 points. Greg Proops.
Fantastic.
Well, I'm not a sucker for stories where people are subservient to pets. I feel that animals have two functions: to be delicious and to fit well. I thought it was a charming tale. The hilarity always comes in spending 6 hours trying to get an animal to do your will. If you've ever been to Ringling Brothers, you know that it takes years for them to do that, and even then, they only do it when you shoot pistols near them. So, I give it a 13.
A 13. All right, we've got our 3 scores. They're tallying up right now, and we'll take a look at the leaderboard and see
Here,
what.
let me make you feel right home, Christine. Is that better? That's good.
Coughlin, look at Coughlin now. When you have your hat down, it's weird. Do it again. Yeah. Okay, Jim score 39 for Jim Coughlin. Way to play, dude. We'll see you in the next round. I reach into the story smash can of truth and I pull out our next contestant. And okay, we're in for a treat. This girl is a writer and a comedian who hosts many of her own shows and has several of her own books, including this one I hold in my right hand. It's called Sugar Baby Club. Look how thick this is. This is a serious book, and it is damn good. She's very, very talented. Put your hands together for the very funny Teresa Lowe. Hey, Teresa. Hey, how's it going, sister?
I'm good. Thank you.
We're happy to see you. Let's tell her what to do. Spin.
That wheel. This spin brought to you by car alarms, letting you know a motorcycle went by. Car alarms.
School days.
Okay, 1 minute for school days. So when I was in college, I had this friend and he had this roommate that he didn't like. My friend's name was Steven and he hated his roommate. So we were like, let's mess with the roommate Jasper when he's not there. So we went to McDonald's and we had seen that documentary from Morgan Spurlock that said like McDonald's food lasts forever. So we bought like a meal and then we stuffed it underneath Jasper's bed and we left it there all semester and like never thought of it again. And then like when the semester was over, you know, we actually dig out the McDonald's food. We open it up and it looked good still. There was no mold. It smelled delicious. Like the pickles were still fine in the hamburger. And my friend Steven actually ate the burger and it still was fine. That's it. School days.
Okay. Blank a badge. 53 seconds. Blaine.
It was nauseating, and I love that you landed on the title by going, and school days. 15 points.
Also added me 7 seconds, but that didn't work.
That's okay. If there's one thing I learned from my days as a comedian at the Punchline in San Francisco from the beloved owner, guy who ran it, Hutch, a short show is a good show.
Leave him wanting more. Blaine, what did you give her?
15.
15 points. That's a perfect score right there. Peter Melman.
Very concise, really interesting, and you know, with like a scientific addition to it. You know, like you actually learn something from this story, and you know, I'm very impressed that you came up with that, like right on the top of your head. I'm gonna have to go with just to be a little bit of a jerk. I'll go 14.5.
14.5. It's a great score. Who knew we did decimals, but we do. Greg Proops.
I thought it was exhilarating. I was looking forward to the ending, and the ending actually delivered for me. when you said the burger was intact and it looked good. It was when your friend ate it that my squeamishness kicked in. I have a disease called Felix Ungernoma. And I can die of disgust. It's the condition where your body actually breaks down if something, it makes you feel squeamish. So I'm going to give it a 14.
A 14. It's a good score. Blank a patch.
I love that you went to McDonald's with somebody named Jasper. I think that's a show right there. I think I already give you a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, you gave it 15. I'm the stoned one, and
I'm going to give it another. I'm going to give it another 15, 30 points.
That's 30.
Good enough. Everybody scored, and even more. Let's see the number. What's Teresa's score?
45.
Nuh-uh. Is it 43.5? 43.5. It's a very good score. Way to play, Teresa. We're going to see you in the next round. And now it's time for the last person in the first round. I don't even have to look at the name because I know who it is. This is a newcomer to the show, and I'm super glad he is here. This guy, he is a comedian, and he was, for 35 years, he was a fitness and wellness instructor. And then he became a comedian. He has been seen at Dangerfields, the Broadway Comedy Club, and the Comic Strip Live in New York City. And he brings his unique comedy perspective of life and family, plus personal experiences and battles with COVID. Oh, God, I hope he lands on COVID. Put your hands together for Bruce Lipsky. Dance, dance. Woo, Bruce.
There I am.
Bruce,
thank you very much.
See you, buddy. How are you tonight?
I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate being here and excited. I was worried because I know there was only one name left in the can, and I was hoping you'd pull my name out, And thankfully you did.
It's a miracle, really. All right, you guys, let's tell Bruce what to do.
Spin that wheel. This has been brought to you by Day Daniels, by Jack Daniels. When you gotta go to work, Day Daniels.
And also by Adobe Brickcats, when you have to make a mission out of your barbecue.
Yeah, let's say Bruce landed on hooking up. Oh, Bruce, isn't it exciting? Hooking up. You talk about it for a minute, and we'll judge the pants off you.
Okay, I'm all set to go. Thank you.
Sorry,
I met my wife 30 years ago on a blind date. We had a mutual friend. We both worked for the same company. She was an uptown girl, and I was a downtown guy. But my wife, my present wife, said, "I'll come down for a meeting, and I'll give you 30 minutes." I said, "Great, no pressure right now." I said, "Is this a meeting for a date, or is it an interview for a husband?" And think about it. 30 years later, we're still together. And we just celebrated our 30th anniversary, 30 years of wedded bliss. Oh, no, wedded blisters, because all these years she's been rubbing me the wrong way. And I certainly got those calluses to prove it. But on our anniversary, we celebrate differently. We don't renew our vows. I get a performance review. And last year was tough. My wife said to me, "If you worked for me, I would have fired your rear end a long time ago." So I got 3 months probation. She took away all my fringe benefits. Where's human resources when I need them? Thank you.
Okay, Bruce Lipsky. Look at that. 59 seconds and 1 second, or whatever that means. Peter Melman.
Didn't you go to me first last time?
I don't know, man. Play along. Just play along.
Well, who doesn't love a romantic story that ends in marriage? Anybody? I guess if you're married 30 years, you really only have one hooking up story. And
sorry to disappoint.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, but nice story. Told very economically, and I give a lot of points for coming within 1 second of the boundary. So 13 and a half.
13.5. Fair enough. Greg Proops.
I thought it was delightful. I'm too old and I don't know what hooking up means. So I thought it was fresh and original. I'm going to go 13.
13. Blank a patch.
I thought it was very fun. My favorite part was when you veered off into the jokes, and Christine. I saw Christine turn around and look at the clock. That was my favorite. My favorite part. The whole thing. I think that was it. That was at 38. I think that was at 38. But they were great. They were great jokes. It was a lot of fun. Congratulations on. I'm married 15 years, so I can't wait to be married 30 years to your wife. But I would give you a perfect score, but you said Uptown Girl, so 14 points.
14 points. It's still a good score. We're going to add them up and take a look at Bruce Lipsky's score. This is so much fun. Oh, gosh, look there. He got a 40.5. 40.5. Thanks for playing the game, Bruce. We'll see you in the next round. Blaine, who else is sponsoring us tonight, by the way?
Oh, we're brought to you by Extra Week Tylenol. You won't even know you took it. Extra Week Tylenol. Also brought to you by Rock. Nothing breaks scissors like rock. Rock, not for use with paper. Also brought to you by Paper. Covers up that rock good. Paper, not for use with scissors. And, of course, scissors cuts up paper dead. Scissors, not for use with rock. Christine?
All right, you guys, we're going to start the second round of the show. It's a 2-minute true story, and it's double the fun. So I'm so happy everybody's back. And guess what? During these 2 minutes, guess who's going to find out the music problem? And we'll see about that. But right now, I reach into the can of Smash Truth, and I tell you that the person coming up for a true 2-minute story is, it's Jim Coughlin. Jim Coughlin, come on up, brother.
All
right, let's tell them what to do, guys. Spin.
Spin.
Rectangle.
Wheel.
In that rectangle.
It's been brought to you by Refrigerator by Milton Bradley, a game of escape.
Ooh, Coughlin landed on audience. And this is when it gets super fun because you guys out there on Facebook and on YouTube can let us know what you would like Jim Coughlin to talk about. And one of our expert judges will choose the topic. And so look here, we've got already plenty of topics. Here's one, wardrobe what does it say?
Malfunction.
Malfunction, thanks. Wardrobe malfunction. And here's one, what was the most awkward tech difficulty you ever survived? Oh, that's funny, Katie. Ha ha.
Hey, what about the UFOs? I want to hear about that UFO.
Yeah, what about that? Well, encounters with bullies, UFO.
There it is.
UFO or pregnancy scare.
Oh, we combine them.
Grandparents with a pregnancy scare on a UFO.
This is Whitley Strieber.
Peanut butter in Ireland.
Peanut butter. I had a peanut butter when I was little.
Okay, is it going to be?
Give Ireland peanut butter to make it look like it's talking.
Here's a question: is Jim holding a seance? All right, guys, what's it going to be? UFO, bullies.
I want UFO. You know what I want.
I know what you want. I'm going to give it to you, Capatch.
Unidentified
UFO.
fucking objects.
Jim Coughlin, let's hear all about it. Take your time. 2-minute story on UFOs. A personal story. Hopefully an abduction. Take your time.
All right. So I will tell you that my gym teacher, first off, I'll tell you that he saved my life. Because we had a gym room / lunchroom, and the tables pushed into the wall. And so we were doing like dodgeball, and I was a very small kid, and he sprinted, and he stopped the table from collapsing onto my head. So this is the man who saved my life. And he's also the man who chose to share with all of us his UFO story, about how he had seen a UFO when he was on a date and blah, blah, blah. And then he didn't have the courage to tell his father for like 25 years. And then finally, his father believed him. Anyway, this is my only encounter with even a UFO story. I don't believe in UFOs. And I drew this story in by trying to make a light joke about my Audrey story needing a better ending. And it does, but I don't know where the UFOs come in. Now, that same gym teacher, I lost all respect for him. As soon as he told the UFO story, for the rest of the year, it's like, that guy's nuts. So that's my view of UFO stories. What else can I tell you about that? Gym class for me was not a terrible thing, just no good. I had another gym teacher who thought that he could give me some, I could be the one to demonstrate the weightlifting. So he had me trying to lift weights in front of everybody, but I was not the statuesque man I am now. I was a 5'2" junior, and I could not lift the weights. And it was one of those great humiliations that I brought on. There we go. And then the UFO, no.
Greg Proops, right on time, 2 minutes.
Certain diaries of the conquistadors, when they're lost in the desert, thousands of miles in an ocean away from home, sort of scream with the same redolence that this desperate tale had. I at once was shocked by the emotional brutality, and at the same token, you rarely hear a story that starts with someone saving your life with them ending the story with, I think he's crazy, as opposed to, he's still my friend to this day, and we live together in Mountain View, California. So I'm going to give it a 13.
A 13. Peter Melman?
I was momentarily a little distracted by the light on Jim's face. He's like basically white Connecticut. I feel bad for Jim because I feel that's an unfair category.
Mm.
There we go.
You know, I mean, who's had an UFO experience? No one. But I was fascinated to see how dodgeball and UFOs made it into the same story. I believe the fact that you put the word dodgeball and UFO in the same sentence, you're probably the only person in America who's done that this week. So I'm going to give you some points for that and some points for taking on a subject that was patently unfair. 13.5.
13.5. It's not a bad score. Yeah, blank patch. You're doing that mute thing again.
He's saying the kindest thing.
Oh, sorry.
I
Pardon me.
commit lips. It was very nice what he just said.
Anyway, I just swatted you, Jim. That's what I was saying. Is I've doxed and swatted you. No, I'm kidding. I liked it. I feel bad because I called you out on it, and you owned up to it at the end. I thought that was nice. And then you tagged it back by doing it again, like some sort of groundhog story smash. But I was distracted from your UFO story by the weather balloon behind you, which would occasionally give me glimpses of your room, and I tried to figure out what your books were. So anyway, that was fun. 14.
14. I think they're being very generous. We're going to add them
Absolutely.
up and check out your entire score, and we'll see what's happening. And
it looks like you're about to land on Mars. It looks like you're a few hundred meters above the surface, and your retros are about to fire.
His thing is hovering right over. Did Greg Proops not? What was it, Greg?
13.
13. Okay, 13. Everything's being added up, and we're gonna, be right to. And what? Us too? Okay, Ed. Whatever, man. I see you. I hear you.
This part brought to you by cold dogs. When tofu won't do it and the summer months come along, cold dogs. They're refreshing with or without.
Jim's total score 39.5. 39.5. Thanks for playing the game, Coughlin. We'll see you later on in the night when we say goodnight to everyone. And you still have a chance. I mean, not tonight.
You can go to the parking lot. They've already signed you out. You can just see Katie about your paperwork. And
Everybody say goodbye to Jim. Goodbye, Jim.
That's a wrap on Jim. There's still a chance he might win, but
all right, you guys. Next contestant coming on to tell a true 2-minute story is, what's it say there?
Lisa Orkin.
Lisa Orkin, come on up, sister. Woo!
What's
happening? It's happening. All right, Lisa. Great to see you, sister. Let's tell Lisa what to do.
Spin that wheel. This has been brought to you by Japanese green tea. Still hot after 4 hours. How the fuck is it still hot after 4 hours? Japanese green tea.
Holly Weird. 2 minutes, Lisa. Holly Weird. Good luck.
So my very first job in Holly Weird on a sitcom was this show called Keaton and Kel, where it was 2 kids starred in it. One of them's on Saturday Night Live now. That one, actually, they didn't actually ever do the lines in the show. So my very first show, I had to just memorize my lines and then try to fit it in where they left me an opening. And then at some point, the writer comes over to me and whispers in my ear, because I didn't realize that no one ever talks to you on a sitcom. They give people messages, they come over and they whisper in your ear. And she said to me, try to be a little less funny. I thought, oh, I didn't even think I was being funny. And I think I was only funny because I was trying to fit my line in. So then we go ahead, we shoot the scene, and then they bring animals in to do the scene with us, which is always the story of my whole Hollywood career, from ostriches to pigs to cows. I'm always with an animal. So now I'm contending with the animal and those 2 young boys. One of them goes out, plays basketball, comes in really sweaty, so they have to redress him. And then they put me in the scene with the animal and the 2 boys, and I have to figure out where to put my line in. I try to say it as flat as I can. Can I please have some milk? That was it. That was the whole line. And I tried to say it not funny, and I tried to do my best. And they seemed to think it was okay, and they let it go. I go back into the dressing room, and one of the people comes back there, and they're like, yeah, I think we need you to come back out and say the line a little funnier. And I was like, it's just milk. Okay, so I come back out, I say the line. By the way, it was directed by someone who was in The Facts of Life, one of those girls, just to tell you. And it's over. No. And I didn't get a curtain call. They forgot about me.
No, she's good. That was a perfect 2 seconds. I stopped a little ahead of time, but it was right on 2 minutes long. Greg Proops.
Oh my God, I love this story.
Yeah.
Why don't we, instead of doing Story Smash, just always have Holly Weird? Try to be a little less funny is the most odious thing that's ever been said to a performer in the history of it. Happened. I won't talk about myself, but yes, I've had that. I can't. It's beyond. 16. Fuck it.
Oh, thank you.
It's beyond what people will say to comedians, man. I mean,
Yeah. Rude. I think the total is 15. That's what we're going to call it. Peter Melman.
All right.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I was thinking the same thing as Greg. That's the worst thing you could say to anyone. But you had a Saturday Night Live person on that show, and I guess by now he's gotten used to people telling him to not be that. Again, another gripping story, very well told. I'm going to have to go with a 15.
Oh, wonderful. 15. 15. Amazing. Blank a patch.
Ostrich, pig, cows. That's where you bury in the lead on this one. Facts of Life director. Who was it? Was it Tootie? Was it Charlotte Rae? Was
Tootie.
it Blair? Was it
Tootie, yeah.
Tootie.
Was it Tootie?
Tootie.
Oh wow!
I
Oh cool!
love
She was
her.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
King
right
Field.
on. Yeah, I shot a pilot with Will Sasso, and the director was Ted Waz, and he was on Soap. He was Danny on Soap. And I was like, "You're Danny on Soap," and he was telling Diana Canova stories. I love that shit. I love that you didn't get a curtain call right before the smash. That was terrific. I've also been told to not be funny on a show, so 16 points.
16. I call that another 15. This is going to be a big number. I know that. Never been good at math, but looky there. It's a perfect score. Lisa's got a 45. Fantastic. That's going to be combined with your first round score, and we'll just see what happens. Right now, coming up to tell another true story. This one's a 2-minute story. It's double the fun. Who is it, Peter?
I believe it's Bruce Lipsky.
Bruce Lipsky! Woo! Come on up, brother. Hey, Bruce, how are you, brother?
Good. I'm going to start off by saying I'm not going to be funny. Okay.
See that you don't.
All right, you guys, let's tell Bruce what to do.
Spin.
Grim.
Bad. Brought to you by Pancake Crafters, quality pancakes in about an hour. Pancake Crafters, Christine.
Hooking up. Wait, didn't he land on this last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you gotta
gotta
hook up with
find
somebody
it.
else's wife in this one.
We got to do it again. Spin.
Then
That.
Bad.
Wheel.
Wheel.
Again.
again.
This has been brought to you by Bosch cereal. Little marshmallow Bosches. Your dad loves it. Bosch cereal.
Ooh, we landed on pandemic. Pandemic. All right, Bruce, you got 2 minutes. I think you should break open the big stuff. The COVID.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Actually, last March, I tested positive for COVID. And so I'm actually what they call a long hauler. I've had symptoms for 14 months. But once you first get COVID, I was quarantined, and obviously sex is out of the question. But my wife, in order to keep the passion alive, cut up one of her Victoria's Secret black lace bras and made masks out of it. Thankfully, she's a double D, or else it would have never fit over this nose. I was very fortunate. She's a loving woman. Another thing about the pandemic, when I first got sick, my doctor tested my antibodies. And my antibodies were the highest he ever saw. They were 7.1. To put it in perspective, 1.4 was the average of a person getting COVID. I was like Superman of the antibodies. I can go up to any woman and say 7.1. Not inches, but antibody units. I was like the Ron Jeremy of antibodies. And, when you get COVID, when you're getting rid of disease, it's called shedding. And my wife was very angry because, we have a designer door that she spent $6,000 on to pay not to be shedding. Now she has a husband who's shedding. But I had told her 40 years ago I showed off the top of my head. But when I first got sick, I was sitting in a rocking chair feeling sorry for myself. And I hadn't showered, haven't shaved. And the next thing I know, pulling into my driveway was this mobile grooming van called the Rough Life, RUFF. I said, wait a second, I got the Rough Life over here. She spent $150 on a grooming session for the dog. I said, what's going on over here? Where's the equality over here? And while she was walking the dog one day, she looked up to me while I was rocking like this. She said, you look like Norman Bates' mother from Psycho. I said, thanks for the encouragement, honey. I really appreciate that. That's my story. Thank you very much. I guess I silenced the audience.
Did you throw to me, Christine? Sorry. Hey, Bruce, that was terrific. I'm sad that you got COVID, but I'm glad that you got 2 minutes of jokes out of it. I didn't see Christine look at the clock once. That's a great sign. The Ron Jeremy of antibodies is only available on premium. So anyway, I loved it. Thanks for staying awake on. You're in New York, right? You know what? If you're in New York, you got to try that deep dish pizza. That's what I've heard. Anyway, great job. 14.
14. Greg Proops.
I also love the surprise ending. That really got me going. I'm going to say 13.
13. Peter Melman.
Once again, I always enjoy the educational things about, so, the 7.1, that was fascinating. And shedding, I've already written down shedding. And I'm just glad you're okay. I guess, do you still have any symptoms?
Absolutely, yes. I said I'm what they call a long hauler, and unfortunately, there's no real cure for it. Yeah.
Oh,
and the ironic thing about this, if I have an extra minute, is that they wanted me to go to a special clinic called the Long Haulers Clinic in Mount Sinai Hospital, New York City. So I called them up, and I explained the situation, and I wanted to make an appointment. They said, no problem. The earliest appointment we can see you is October 25th.
Nice.
So I said to them, you guys are either very optimistic that I'm going to cancel this because I'll be cured, or you're very pessimistic that I'll still have the symptoms and I'll keep the appointment. So,
the Long Haulers Clinic used to be just all about truck drivers.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
Now they've gone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give it 15 just because of the story was so gripping. Not funny.
Right.
I mean, it's a sad story, but I'm glad it came out okay.
Yes. You'll have to have me back here again for part 2.
We're all glad you're here, Bruce. You've got a total score of 42. Excellent. Thanks for playing, friend. I'll see you at the end of the night. And right now, we've got one name left in the Story Smash Can of Truth. And of course, that is Teresa Lowe. Come on up, Teresa.
Yeah, we ain't gonna
That's it. You got the best hair for this song. I love it. All right, you guys, let's tell her what to do.
That real. It's been brought to you by spiders drinking from the corner of your eye when you're asleep. Spiders will make your ear full of eggs.
Audience again, and we love the audience. And so let's hear some more topics. No, we already did. We already did UFOs. No, not Billy Joel deduction. Okay, encounters with bullies, grandparents, and Memorial Day, bad bosses, beach, pregnancy scare.
These are all my favorite 80s comedies.
Weddings and cyber stalkers and spiders. What's it going to be?
There was one.
UFOs. No, I'm just kidding.
Please do UFOs.
Yeah, I'll do UFOs if you want me to do UFOs.
I saw one that kind of grabbed me. Bad bosses seems like a nice.
Bad bosses. That does sound really good. How about that, Peter?
Oh yeah, whatever.
Wow.
Let's do bad bosses. I love that.
I'm easy.
Yeah, but what topic did you want to hear?
Bad bosses. I like that.
Woo! All right, Teresa, whenever you're ready, sister, I'll hit the clock.
All right. So during this pandemic, I saw this job on Craigslist, and it was like near my house, and it was to be the manager of this art studio. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I send in my resume, I get a call, I go in, and I show up, and I'm wearing a mask. And the owner, who's an artist, was not wearing a mask. And I was like, oh, okay, this probably is a red flag. But we do the interview, and he's actually really cool. He's really nice. But then he tells me, he's like, how well do you handle narcissists? And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? That's kind of like a weird ask. But I was like, oh, I'm a comedian. I can handle it. And so I get a second call back. And the second call back, I meet this weird guy who's like kind of his assistant, but who's his same age. And they interview me, and I just get like a weird vibe, but I take the job anyway. And so like I'm doing this job, and I'm starting to think like the assistant guy, his name is Alex. I'm like, I think Alex is embezzling from the company. So like I'm doing the financials for this artist, and I tell the artist, And the artist's like, no, Alex, he's a good guy and blah, blah. But Alex gets really upset that I'm like looking into the finances. So he starts to harass me. Like he sends me like a ton of emails like, you need to respect me. Why don't you respect me? And I tell the boss, I'm like, hey, this guy is kind of nuts. He's stealing from you and he's very scary. And the boss is just like, oh, but he's been with me so long, you can just deal with it. And so I was like, I feel actually kind of scared. So I ended up quitting. And months later, I look into, I just Googled artist and I see what he's up to. And he actually had sold a giant piece to the Midwest. And it actually caused the town to uproar because the piece was so ugly. It was like 2 sticks with a circle, and the circle looked like a ball sack. That's the end of my story of bad bosses.
I can't hear. Are we hearing anything?
It was just a little over time at 2:05. Peter.
I was at first taken just by the fact that you said you got a call back for a job at an I mean, God, can't these people just stop taking, get over yourselves. But I have heard recently that they at headhunters, they ask you whether you can deal with narcissists now. Oh God. Anyway, I love the story because I love that it had not 1 but 2 plot twists. The embezzling took it to a really great kind of Law and Order place. By the way, this Law and Order, I've been watching, any kid who sends their kid, any parent who sends their kid to Hudson University should be arrested. There's always a murder at Hudson University. I love the embezzling, and I love that I like anybody who quits a job. And the mere fact that they sold a piece of art to the Midwest that was incredibly ugly. I don't see how they could distinguish between, the standard ugliness of the Midwest and the new ugliness. But, sorry, the Chicago guy. I love the story. I'm going to have to go 15.
15, blank patch.
I always knew Alex was up to no good. That guy always was just. I had a weird vibe in that guy. We all went to we went to Bubblegum Shrimp Company, ironically, and he was being a real dick. I knew he was embezzling something.
He owes me $10.
Yeah, you know what? You could have gotten in a lot of trouble. That was too close for comfort. And speaking of too close for comfort, you know what I never understood about that show was when Ted Knight was supposed to be married to Nancy Dussault, and she was clearly I was going nowhere. I was trying to make fun of anyway, I loved it, and you landed on a giant Midwest ball sack when the glass shattered. 15 points.
15 points, Greg Proops.
Yeah, this story was superb. It just had everything. Sexism and chicanery, the desperateness of wanting something that sounded cool and then finding out that the douchebaggery and fuckery were unbridled, and that those kind of people always wear their wretched ignorance and terrible artistry like it's an awful emblem, like it's been burned into them because they were punished at a penal colony in Texas in the 1840s. And so I loved it. And the embezzling part made it great. It reminded me of my dad. So I'm going to give it 15.
Oh my gosh, another 15. I can even add that up. That's a total perfect score. Am I right? Yes, it is. Teresa's total score, 45. That's going to be combined with her first score. And I got to tell you, what a great night. Thank you so much, everybody, for playing. We're going to see the scores in just a second here. Our producer will bring all the contestants back on. Here's Jim Coughlin coming down from the UFO. There's Lisa Orkin, and there's Bruce Lipsky. You guys all did a great job tonight. Thank you so much for playing the game. We'll be back here next Friday, same place, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And Peter, I got to tell you, really good to have you back, man. Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back. I mean, I missed the cookies.
I know. Well, guess what? Now the winner of the show, I don't know if I told you guys this, but the winner of the show is going to get $10 Venmo to them via me. You're welcome. Don't worry about the taxes. It's going to be $10 full, and that's going to come to you tomorrow, whoever wins this show. So get excited. And oh, look at that. Ed Horst says that we're here for Greg's visual tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. And Alicia Maurice, thanks for tuning in. Yay. And all right, so we're going to be seeing some topics pretty soon here, or some total scores. Jim's total score, 78.5. 78.5. Hey, you guys remember Jim Coughlin? He's my assistant at the Improv. You remember seeing Jim Coughlin there at the Improv? He's the guy. We're all coming back to the Improv, hopefully in July. Coughlin, I hope you'll be there with us. Thanks for playing tonight.
You're not going to remember Jim Coughlin after this.
It didn't flash.
Oh, God damn it. I was trying to do a Men in
Do it
Black
again.
joke.
Do it again. Jim Coughlin.
Oh, okay.
No,
Bruce's total score is 82.5. Bruce's total score, 82.5. Great score, Bruce. Thanks for joining us. You first time on the show, and I think you did really well. I sure hope you get well, etc.
Keep shedding, Bruce.
All right.
shedding.
Thank you. That's good.
Lisa's total score, 88. I don't even know how you beat 88 unless there's one more number. Lisa's total score is 88. Oh, yeah.
88.5. Whoa.
88.5. So, wait.
La Raza.
Teresa.
What just happened?
88.5 La Raza.
So what just happened?
Mañana.
A la mañana.
Teresa just
won.
Yeah,
Teresa
Teresa just won.
You guys, Teresa Lowe, she's won this game before, and she's won it again. Unbelievable. Way to go, Teresa Lowe. Thank you so much for playing. Jim Coughlin, Lisa Orkin, Bruce Lipsky, and a super huge thank you to our expert judges. Blanket Patch, you're the best. Greg Proops, you're the best. And Peter Melman, thanks for getting that new computer. I appreciate it. My name is Christine Blackburn. Good night. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
This is Story Smash. Stay at Christine's house with a car out back. Exchange for this announcement. For more information on the car out back at Christine's, not that Christine, you can see it at hotmail.com.
Nice. Hey.